Hey everyone, welcome back to another tier list Tuesday. Today we're going to be ranking every character super rare. Now if you don't know what character super rares are, they are the Trainer Gallery V and VMAX cards that came over in our English sets Brilliant Stars, Astral Radiance, Lost Origin, and Silver Tempest. The reason they're called character super rares is that it's the rarity that is used in Japanese, and it is more clarifying since just calling them Trainer Gallery mixes them with all of the other Trainer Gallery cards, where character super rare separates the V and VMAX from the regular character rares, which are just regular Pokemon cards. Going to be ranking them today on this scale. Just as a whole, I like these less than character rares, like as a mechanic, rarity rather, because they took away the facet of character rares being very affordable. Most of the character super rares are at least $5, if not up to like $30, $40 from some of the most popular ones, which did take away a lot of the best parts about character rares. However, there are some absolutely beautiful ones here, particularly one or two that are my absolute favorites. Let's get right into it. First off, we have the Misty and Starmie V from Astral Radiance. This is drawn by, I believe, Komiyama. We're going to put this in B tier. It's pretty good. I'm not a big of a fan of his others just because I'm not like a big Starmie fan, big Misty fan, but the colors are quite nice. I think Komiyama did a better job on the Oranguru art. I believe they're the same artist, but it is still quite nice. Next up we have Peony and Ice Rider. This one's really pretty looking. It's a Narita art. It looks really good on the hill, but honestly, it's not my favorite, just because it's kind of static. Could be a little bit better. The next one we're going to get into, what you're probably going to see this as a common trend over all of these, is that generally I like the VMAXs less unless they do a lot with the artwork, because the VMAXs are super big, so the trainer is like less involved. So we have Ice Rider VMAX. This one is D tier. It's just nothing impressive. Not a big fan of the Pokemon. The positioning is just kind of cool, but like not doing anything. He's just kind of like stepping up and Peony's falling off. Yeah, it's just not that great, especially when compared to the amazing arts we'll see further on. Next up we have the Koki Saito Galarian Articuno character super rare. That one is an A tier. This one is really, really nice looking. I didn't appreciate it until I really looked at it, but it's even better than the special art in my opinion. Galarian Articuno is not a Pokemon I particularly love, but this artwork does it great justice. Next up we have the Shadow Rider Calyrex done by, I believe, Oswaldo Cato. This card is really, really nice. Absolutely better than the CGI version of Shadow Rider Calyrex that we got in the set. Is it better than the alternate art? It's really close because the alternate art Shadow Rider regular is really, really good. I'm going to put this up in A tier. It's pretty good. And then we have the Shadow Rider Calyrex VMAX. This one is worse. Is it better than the CGI one? Absolutely. By a country mile, the CGI Shadow Rider Calyrex VMAX is one of the ugliest cards of the Sword and Shield era. But it's definitely not as good as the alternate art, which is a bit disappointing. I'm going to put it in C tier. It's definitely not this level, but it's not anywhere up with my favorites up there. Next up we have the Galarian Zapdos. This is one I actually like a lot better than the alternate art. The alternate art was really not my thing. We're going to go ahead and put this in B tier. It is quite pretty. It's one I'd like to pull, one I'd like to own to use in a deck. Sonia's like not particularly my favorite character at all, but the Galarian Zapdos is very cool, and this artwork does it a lot of favors. We have Galarian Moltres with Gloria. I do not remember who illustrated this one in particular, but I am going to put it in B tier. It's also very nice. I will say this is not as good as the alternate art in my opinion. The Shibuzo alternate art is just godlike, one of the best alternate arts we saw in the Sword and Shield era, whereas this is just a really, really nice card. So that's kind of what differentiates the two, but it is still quite nice. I would not mind owning these in real life. If I were to pull it, I'd be pretty happy. We have the Zacian and Hop one. This one is just okay. Gonna put it in C tier. Honestly, I'm not that big of a fan of it. It's just kind of boring. I liked seeing Zacian do like more cool poses, and I honestly think, like, looking back now that we have the Zacian Secret Art Rare from V-Star Universe Crown Zenith, that card drawn by Hataya is a lot more cool looking than this one in my opinion. Maybe I'm alone on that, but I'm not a big fan of this one. Next up we have Zamazenta. This one's a little bit cooler, but just a little bit, not enough to put it up in B tier. But I do like the color, like the red colors going around. It's more of like an action pose. It's like C+, right? Like it's better than these two, but not as good as these four. Next up we have the Garchomp and Cynthia. character super rare. I believe, was this Tyra who drew this? Akitsu? Could be. I don't exactly remember. We're going to put this up in B tier. I know a lot of people would rank it higher just because they love Cynthia. This one is pretty decent. I think the night sky is really pretty. I think the card artwork is really well drawn, but it isn't really doing much. If you want to see like a card that I really like, the Garchomp and Cynthia from Ultra Prism has like a really nice dynamic pose. I believe that was drawn by Mizutani. Next up we have the Boltund and Sonia. This one's just alright. If I pulled it, I wouldn't be mad at all. Certainly not. With most of these, besides like some of the VMAXs, I'd be really happy with pulling them from a pack just because they're a really nice treat. This one has a decent artwork. I like the pink on it, but Boltund is one of my least favorite Galarian Pokemon. Galarian Pokemon for me, there's like 50% of them are like really cool, like Orbeetle and Alcremie and Appleton, and then 50% of them are like bottom 10 Pokemon of all time. Boltund is really close to that bottom 10 Pokemon of all time thing. I know he's just a dog and everyone likes him, but he has a tail that he like slurps up inside of himself like a worm, and it's like, oh, why did they give him a retractable tail that slurps inside of him? That is disgusting. Why? Next up we have Sylveon with Valerie. This one is nice. It's not really doing that much, but it's still really pretty. I'm gonna go ahead and put that in B tier. That's a card I'd be really happy to own, to be honest. Maybe I should, yeah, I think I'm gonna put it in A tier, because this one I would want to own for a collection. I'm not like a Sylveon collector, nor do I care much for Valerie, but it is a very nice card. I do own this next one, the Sylveon VMAX. This one is alright, but again, you see so much less of like the appeal of the Pokemon when it's VMAX, honestly. So B tier, but it's still quite nice. We have the Mimikyu next, the one in the room watching the TV. What is he watching? Probably my videos. That's why Asarol is freaked out, is my videos are bad. So I'm gonna put it in A tier. I quite like this one. Love to own it someday. Probably won't ever though. Mimikyu VMAX, a little bit less of a fan of this one. She's laying on like its pudgy tummy, but again, like I don't like the VMAX art as much. They're just kind of there, I guess. C tier. We have, I believe this is Yu Nishida drawn. I could be wrong though. Urshifu V. This one is just alright as well. Doesn't really do that much for me just because I don't really love Urshifu, but honestly this one's better, this VMAX here. I'm going to put this one in B tier. It's a pretty cool artwork with Gloria there doing the big ol' punch. Synchronized underneath it. This is a way to use a VMAX art, is to use the scale but still have like the trainers in sync instead of just flying off of there. Next up we have the Mustard and Rapid Strike Urshifu. This one's quite good. We're going to put this in B tier. I really like the artwork on it. And I'd be really happy to use that in the deck, but even more than that we have the Rapid Strike Urshifu VMAX, which is just really phenomenal. This card just looks great and I would love to own it someday. Next up we have the Umbreon. I did pull this one from a pack, so I'm a little bit biased, but I'm also, again, oppositely biased because I don't like Umbreon as a Pokemon. I know, hot take, kill me if you wish, but Umbreon is not a Pokemon I particularly like. This one, though, is not bad. We're going to give it B tier. It's still a pretty card, Umbreon and Karen there. It is still kind of cool. This one I like much less. Despite Kawayu being one of my favorite artists in the TCG, the VMAX Umbreon again just loses a lot of its appeal for me. I don't love the VMAXs unless they're used in really cool ways. So we're going to put this in D tier. Next up we have Bugsy and Orbital. This one's just alright. It is a pretty artwork, very green and lush, but not particularly doing it for me, especially compared to the VMAX. We're going to put that in C tier. Not bad, but not great. Next up we have one of the GOATs, the T0 Orbeetle VMAX. Just a wonderful looking card, absolutely incredible. This card is stunning. I ordered it in Japanese even because I was so excited about it. Orbeetle VMAX is just sucking up everything on the ground, including Bugsy, including a Miltank. And the art is just so wild. One of the very many arts that made me fall in love with T0's artwork. Next up we have Centiskorch. This one is frankly really boring. It's not like a bad card, it just doesn't do anything for me. Not even like the colors. Kabu's kind of just there, I guess. I don't know. And the VMAX, same thing. I'm just not that excited about it. Honestly, the regular Centiskorch VMAX is a little bit more exciting because it's like up in your face. This one's just kind of there. I believe this was drawn by Kato. Next up we get the Pikachu and Red. This one's pretty decent. I'm gonna put it in B tier. It's a card I'd definitely like to own someday, honestly, but just for like collector's purposes, but I'll probably never end up pulling it or anything, so it's just nice to look at from afar. Then we have the Pikachu VMAX. This one is great. I believe this was the first revealed, the character super rare. I believe this was the first one revealed out of all of them, and it's great. It's just giant Pikachu, and you have red in front of there. It does it really, really well. It's still really, really cool. Yeah, it nails all of the things you need to have. Next up we have Kogita and Enamorus. This one, it's great artwork by Akira Egawa, but it's really hurt by the fact it's Enamorus, and Enamorus is gross. So we'll put it in B tier. B tier is getting pretty big, but I suppose that's kind of how these tier lists are supposed to be, is they form a triangle, right? Next up we have Gallade. This one's pretty decent. Gallade, and I forget the ninja's name. Why can't I remember his name? I can't remember his name. This is like the first time I'm probably ever forgetting the name in one of these videos. B tier again. It's really nice. I do actually own this because I found it at a shop. Why can't I remember his name? Crobat is really nice. This one is, I'm a little biased because it is a playable card, so I get to use it in my decks. It's significantly better than the full art and the regular art though, so I'm going to put this one in B tier as well. Potentially like B+, you know, probably above the rest of these, but not as good as these ones up here. We have Eternatus with Rose. This one is probably the most boring one of all. It's not really doing anything. Rose doesn't look that cool. Eternatus doesn't look that cool. But in contrast, Eternatus VMAX with Mitsuhiro Arita's drawing is absolutely crazy. This card is freakish, and I love it. So definitely up there for one of the best. Next up we have Kricketune and Bugcatcher. This one is really nice, a nice Hyogonosuke artwork. It's very like nice and shaded, and it looks cute, but I don't know, it's pretty good. We're gonna put it in A tier. Next up we have Rosa and Superior. Dare I say the absolute best character, super rare. I was so excited when this got revealed. I ordered it on release once I'd opened up my V-Star, or once I opened up my Incandescent Arcana box. I didn't pull it. I pulled Serena Full Art, which is still like a great consolation prize, like a $300 consolation prize at that. Didn't pull the Superior, but I pulled Serena, sold the Serena, immediately bought the Superior because, I mean, it's just great. Another T0 artwork. Rosa's a great character. Superior is a very cool Pokemon, but what I honestly don't think about a lot, despite being a Unova fan, I never really think about the starters that often. In the background, you can see the Mountain Reversal from the Unova region. It's filled with smoke. It's just, this card is brilliant. As is the next one. May and Blaziken by Nagissimo is just great. If I had to rank this, it's probably like this. It's just an amazing, amazing character, super rare, that really, really makes me like the card quite a bit. I believe this was also one that was early on revealed. Next up we have the Blaziken VMAX, and in contrast, this is honestly one of the less impressive ones. Again, the VMAXs just don't do it as much for me unless you do them really well. And this one is honestly less interesting than the Blaziken VMAX by Akira Egawa, which I like more. Next up we have the Celine and Zeraora. We're going to put that in B tier. It's pretty nice. Background's kind of boring, but it's a nice looking card. I think I would want to pull it. Yeah, that's kind of cute. Next up we have Mawile and Beedee. I was kind of disappointed, to be honest, in this card. It's not a terrible looking card necessarily, but when you think about Incandescent Arcana, there's a lot of V's that we were thinking like, oh, is this going to get the character super rare? There was a Alolan Vulpix, which could have gotten a character super rare with Lily. There was Ho-Oh, which could have gotten a character super rare with Silver or Gold, or maybe even Professor Elm or something, maybe even Ash. I don't know. I don't think they're canonizing Ash anytime soon in the TCG, but this was definitely like from the V's in the set. Magearna also could have had one with like Lily or Moan or something like that. From the ones in the set, though, this is definitely probably the worst V they could have picked. I like Mawile as a Pokemon, but it just didn't really deserve it, and it's not like that stunning of an artwork, so I'm gonna put it in the C tier. Was certainly unexpected, if nothing else. Next up we have Corviknight v with the taxi cab driver. This one's super boring. Probably, I'd say this is probably the worst character super rare. Just nothing interesting there. And same thing with the VMAX. It is super uninteresting, and I have like no reason to care about the card at all. Would not want to pull it from a pack. With the Rayquaza here, this one's pretty cool with Zinnia. It's honestly hard to tell it's even VMAX if you don't see the cloud above its head, because I just assume Rayquaza's that big anyway, but it is pretty nice. We're going to put that up in A tier. We then have Duraludon. This one is amazing, drawn by Akira Egawa. Really, really nice looking card with Raihan screaming on top. Going to put that in A tier as well. And to finish off, Blissey with Center Lady. This one, I'm particularly biased because I love Blissey V as a card. It's a lot of fun to play. I'm going to put that up in S tier, and we'll rank the S tier like that. If I were to give a top 10 with these here, we have the 5 right there. And let's make another 5 here, like so. We want to put anything above the Sylveon. Yeah, I'll put the Urshifu. Yeah, we'll make that. This is going to be our top 10 here. These 5, and then going on to these 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Those are probably my top 10 favorite character super rares. I don't think we'll see character super rares return for a while, so it felt like a good time to do a tier list. Maybe they'll bring them back sometime in the Scarlet and Violet TCG era. Who knows what's in store for us. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, though. If you enjoyed it, check out my other tier list videos, and I also do Retro Tabletop TCG every single Friday, so check out those videos, maybe subscribe, and stay tuned for what's ahead. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.